people just don't fucking get it, right? They just don't get it. The things that Donald Trump and Republicans are telling you that they're going to do for you as a middle class, working class American will, in many instances, never touch you. And this is not, don't take this the wrong way, I guess I should say, but most working class folks do not have their taxes set up the same way as people like myself and Mr. Global. That doesn't mean that myself and Mr. Global are fucking swimming in money. Far from it, right? We just have our taxes set up differently because we work for ourselves. And when you work for yourself, you fucking write off everything. I buy stamps, it's a write-off. I buy envelopes, it's a write-off. I buy fucking pens, it's a write-off. I get in my car and I drive to go pick up our fucking check from the carrier that we lease our semis to. The mileage is a write-off. I get in my car, if I have to get in my car today and go grab a part and take it to one of my drivers, the mileage is a write-off. The part is a write-off. If I fucking grab my lunch with my driver while I'm out there, it's a fucking write-off. Most people don't do that. And so a lot of the shit that the Republicans are proposing doesn't affect them, will never affect them. But they think it will because the Republicans convinced them that it will. Mr. Global is now going to explain to you why it's not going to touch most of the working class people. And it's not because they're bad people, it's not because they're stupid people, it's because they do their taxes differently. That's all.
So Donald Trump is going to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. I summon all Democrats and I challenge you to find a problem with that statement.
Okay, well, I'm not a Democrat. I think I should let you finish.
But you have to admit the man is at work for the working class person.
So, fair point. Let's talk about this, though. Who will get that tax deduction? Who will get it? Those of us who itemize our taxes. Those of us who do not take the standard deduction and fully itemize our taxes, that's who will get the benefit of that deduction. And oh, by the way, people that itemize their taxes already, for the most part, deduct vehicle expenses. Because if they're itemizing, they're likely self-employed and they likely integrate their vehicles into their tax deductions, right? So the people that already itemize are already doing this. The people that don't itemize aren't going to be allowed to do this. Do you understand? By the way, who is it that itemizes and who doesn't? Who itemizes and who doesn't? Because you say for the working man, okay? Well, the bottom 20% of earners, only 1.2% itemize. So of the bottom 20% of earners, 1.2% of these working class people will get that deduction. What about 20 to 40%? What if you're in the 20 to 40% bracket? 2.5%. 2.5% will get to itemize those. What if you're halfway? What if you're right in the middle? 5%. Who really gets to take full advantage of this deduction? The top 1%, you see down there, 91.5% of all people who itemize are in the top 1%. 72% are in the top 5%. Only about 13% of everyone itemizes. But of those people, the vast majority of them are in the top 1%. Those are the people that are going to get to enjoy this deduction. And guess what? They're already taking that deduction through mileage deductions, vehicle maintenance deductions. They're already getting it. Are they going to get this in addition to that? Am I going to get, of course, I'm not paying any interest, but if I was, would I get an additional deduction? Probably not. Most of these people pay cash for vehicles. Most of them. So is it fair to say this is for the working man? Because when I think of the working man, I think of blue-collar working type individuals. I don't think of people in the top 1%. I don't think of people in the top 5%. I am a working man who happens to be probably top 5%. I don't think I'm top 1%. I'm in the top 5 for sure. I'm a working man, but I'm not common. I'm not common. So there you go. If you think you're going to get that tax deduction, understand something. Unless you itemize your taxes, and unless all of that would be greater than the standard deduction, which likely not, you're not going to get that tax deduction. That's not a thing.
So really quickly, what's he talking about? Well, he's talking about itemization versus the general deduction. You and your spouse both have jobs. You both fill out a W-2 or your regular tax forms. You get a regular taxable paycheck. You get a W-2 at the end of the year. You file your taxes. Maybe you get a return. Maybe you don't, depending on how you claimed your taxes. You're going to generally take the standard deduction, which the one that almost everybody takes, because they don't want to sit down and go through every expense that they incurred, or it doesn't make sense for them to do so because they're not self-employed. Mr. Global is self-employed. I'm self-employed. So a shit ton of things that we use, that we pay for, go towards our business because it benefits the business. It's for the business. So we don't take the general deduction. We sit down and we itemize everything. That's what he's talking about. And people who take the general deduction because it's the right move to make in your situation are not going to be able to get to experience moves or benefits like what Trump is proposing. Making the interest payments on your car tax deductible as long as your car was purchased in the United States or made in America, which I don't know what that would even cover at this point in time, right? Okay, what if it was put together in a plant in Georgia, but all of the parts came from Canada and Mexico? You see what I'm saying? I don't know what that would even cover. But the point being is, you guys are being tricked into thinking that you're going to be able to get additional tax benefits that you are not going to get. You're just not.